Welcome back, and today what we're doing is we're answering the question of should you summon this weekend, and if you do summon, what should you summon on? So there's a few answers to this, but before that, I know I said that the next video that was going to be coming out was going to be the takeover. However, my editing of that did get delayed, so I will get to that as soon as possible. But also, I am planning on recording my attacks in GVG, so that will probably be the next video. So the takeover should come out soon. It wasn't anything super impressive, so it doesn't take precedence, but it is nice to be able to help out some of the community, you know? So I will get that up as soon as I can. But for this video, like I said, we're going to be going over should you summon and what should you summon on. So, we have a 2 times active, as in most weekends. Honestly, unless you don't really need these units, there's no reason to summon on the 2 times. I mean, sure, you have better rates, but it's random. You could get Cratch, Azor, Cratch. You know, you could just consistently get poor luck. You could still get that on this banner as well. However, the chance to get Hatsu, who is the rarest unit in the game, apart from 2 lords, rarest normal unit in the game, I should say, apart from 2 lords, Morgan and Leia, I believe those are the 2. She is almost as rare as those 2. Tordor is more common to get than Hatsu. So, Hatsu being on a banner, and this is only her 3rd banner ever, is very good to summon on. She is also a very good unit. So let's go over her first. I do have her. I am still probably going to pull on this banner because I don't have Glacius. Obviously, he's brand new. But she doesn't have Great Awakenings. I'm not going to go over these in detail. You can look at them as well. I'll go over the main ones. Soul Drain plus 5%. Well, first let's go over the skills. The skills are her basic attack is 50% damage. That may seem weak at first, but it's 2 consecutive times. And she prioritizes targets with low defense. So she will prioritize the lowest defense unit. This is good, but it could also be bad. If you need her to take out a flying unit, but it's got high defense and there's a ground unit with low defense, she will prioritize the ground unit first. Now, she does do bounce damage, because this 20% to one nearby enemy 2 consecutive times. So each hit does 20% damage to a nearby enemy. And that's the Soul Torment, so to say. The Soul Torment is, there has to be, it bounces to 1 more target, so there has to be 1 more unit in range. And with each damage, the damage of each bounce increases by 5% for each bounce. And the target also gets a defense reduction. Now, this defense reduction can be skilled up to 30%, which is really good. This solid defense break, which makes her basic attack really strong. If there's 2 enemies. If there's 1 enemy, it's just doing 100% damage. You're not getting the defense break, nothing. You're just doing the 100% damage, which is still solid because she does solid damage in general. Now, her ultimate is massive burst damage. This burst damage, I believe, is the highest in the game, and her A5 makes it 1 second longer. So at base level, that'd be 4 seconds. Fully skilled, that'd be 5 seconds. 5 seconds may not seem like a whole lot of time. That's at A5. A1 or just base level, gets it for 4 seconds, and it is a ton of damage. 180%. That scales up to 20, 10, 10, 10. So that's up 50%. So 230% damage every 0.3 seconds. every 0.3 seconds for 4 seconds when fully skilled up. That's a ton of damage. I believe it's the highest burst in the game. I'm not 100% sure, but I believe it's the highest just single burst in the game. And it is AoE, up to 5 enemies in range. Yeah, it stays at 5 enemies. That's huge damage. So she is good most places. So when the Ghastly Stealth, when she's deployed, she gains invisibility for 20 seconds, and each kill during this invisibility increases her attack by 5% up to 25, and it lasts for 8 seconds. Now this can get skilled up to 30 seconds, 5, 10, 15, 20, 40 seconds, and the increase attack can be scaled up to 10 seconds. So she could be invisible for 40 seconds and get up to a 25% increase in attack for 10 seconds. This is good and all. This makes her really good for the right side of Gear Raid 3 later stages. But in general, this is kind of a whatever skill. This increased attack, it makes her good for when she's first put down. And if you get those kills off and you can do her ult, that does increase her ult damage by a ton as well. Her A3, I believe it was. Yeah, increases that by 10 seconds. So she could be invisible for 50 seconds. Great and all, but not really necessary. She does have a skin, which I have equipped on her. So that's cool. She is good, honestly, in most places of the game. The only place that I could see her... There's 3 places where I could see her not doing super great in, and that would be Titanic Ruin, because boss. Drake's Chasm, because it's a boss, 1 unit. And then she's not great in Gear Raid or Gear Dungeon 1, but she can work. She can work in all 3 of the Gear Raids. She's less useful in Gear Raid 1, but she does work. She's not super great in AMR, but she can work as well, because eventually there will be more enemies, and she will apply that defense break if it lasts that long. If it lasts that long, though, you're going to have to try and figure out something to do for healing. Like, if you have Constance, sure, that could work. But, or Mariel, I believe. So you could make her work in AMR, but it'd be really shoehorning her in most likely. But she is an amazing unit for so many different areas. Gear Raid 5, or Gear Dungeon 2, she's almost essential for. So if you get her, she will just make your life easier. So I do recommend pulling on that banner if you don't have her. On top of that, Glacius. Now, I don't have Glacius, he's brand new, and I have not been able to test him, nor have I really seen much testing of him. I've heard some theories about him, and the theories are he's going to be amazing, but I can't tell you that for sure. I can tell you he's a Northerner mage, which means we now have 4 Northerner mages, making that stage 12 much easier to complete if you get him, because you need to have 3 mages for 3-star. That's one big reason to pull for him. If you don't have Shamir, or if you're missing 1 mage for the Northern faction, he is almost essential. So his basic attack inflicts slow with a 20% chance to inflict freeze. That's great. The slows are really good too. That's single target damage, so deals 20% increased damage to targets inflicted with slow and 20% with freeze. Great. His A1 deals 100% magic damage to 1 enemy, scales up to 120%. Awesome. Solid damage. His ultimate, when activated, increases attack range and turns basic attack into 3 consecutive strikes, with each strike dealing 90% damage. So decreases each hit by 10%, but increases the number of hits by 3 or by 2. So he's essentially gaining 170% damage just on his base, just on his basic attack when he activates his ult, which goes down to 900 cost. That's solid. Lasts 15 seconds. This is really good, and we're not even done with it yet. To random enemies in range. So if there's random enemy, or if there's more than one enemy, he's going to be attacking randomly. Little downside, but whatever. He can apply freezes and slows to units, or to enemies. That's great. And if it's a boss, he's going to be doing tons of burst damage to just that boss. For every 1% of max HP, or every 1% max HP of shield strength owned, increases damage by 1% up to 100%. So if he's got a big shield on, he can increase his damage by a ton. Figure if you just have a 50% shield on him, you're increasing his damage by 50% right there. That's huge. So definitely fits in that northern faction. Passive gains a shield equal to 20% of his max HP every 30 seconds, lasting 10 seconds. Each time damage is taken, reduces the cooldown by 1 second, up to 12 seconds. Okay, so he can get this back up to every 18 seconds. That's if he's consistently being bombarded. Unlikely, considering he's a mage, but I mean, that's possible. When the ultimate is activated, this effect triggers immediately and increases the shield strength obtained to 40%. Okay, so that's like straight up a 40% increase, and 50% at full skill. And at full skill, that can go down to let's see, we're at 18, 16, so 14 seconds. Every 14 seconds he can get that back. Yeah, something like that. So that's huge. That's a ton. Oh wait, no, 10%, 10%. So that's 60%. That increases his damage during his ult by 60%. That's huge. So Heart of Ice. The hero possesses freeze immunity, so he can't be frozen. Great. Deals 60% extra damage to enemies inflicted with freeze. If the target is immune to freeze triggered by talent, the hero inflicts Eye of Winter on them for 3 seconds. Eye of Winter, pretty much what that does is it says, hey, I know you can't be frozen, but I'm going to see you as frozen. Increases his damage multiplier, increases duration. That's a great move. Let's see what his base... I'm not even going to bother with his awakenings because he's a brand new unit. If you get him awakened, great. If not, hey. 4,600 base attack, solid. So, and 10,000 HP. I think that's pretty high for a mage. I'm not positive. I'm not too up to par with those stats, but I mean, that's still solid. He's going to be a really good unit. It looks. I am definitely going to be pulling for him. Theowin, Fusible, Cyclone, I think is underwhelming. I've never really used him. And Titus can be really good for certain areas. So, should you summon on this banner? If you don't have Hot Suit or you need a mage, especially for Northern Trials, yes. Just straight up yes. If you already have Hot Suit and you don't really need Glacius, I could understand skipping it, but even just pushing towards that A5 for Hot Suit might be worth it. But I get it. We just had some really good banners. This would be a good one to save if you're not hurting for Hot Suit. Hot Suit is the star of this banner by all means. Glacius is just a bonus. But if you don't need either one of them, sure, I get it. You could skip it. And I wouldn't be like, hey, you're crazy. So, now, onto this banner. So, we're going to go over Ingrid last. First, though, we'll go over Thalon. Thalon, really good single target, I believe single target, fighter. I do not have him. I would like to have him. He's really good, but I don't. Okay, so he's AoE. 50% damage to up to 5 enemies 2 times. Okay, so solid. What's his talent? Each basic attack has a chance equivalent to 50% of the current rage percent to turn into a luminous strike, which deals 240% damage to up to 5 enemies. Wow. Luminous strike. Okay, so he doesn't have like a skill for that, but that would explain why it's explained there. But that is really good. At 100% rage, he's just 50% chance to consistently do that. Manual ult, great. It is a very strange range. It's not right in front of him, but it's one tile in front of him for that standard mage range, even though he's a tile unit. Throws Gungear to one enemy in extended range, dealing 560 damage to up to 8 enemies around the target upon hit. Gungear will stay at the target location for up to 12 seconds before returning, during which the hero attacks or stops attacking, and Gungear emits a pulse every 2 seconds, dealing 300% damage to up to 3 enemies around and inflicting magic res reduction 20%. Cool. When the number of blocked enemies reaches a maximum, Gungear will return immediately. I'm not sure exactly what that means, but yeah, sure. I would like to test him out. I don't have him. I would like to have him, but you know, we'll see. Gungear, he just increases his damage a ton, and his ult goes down to 800 cost, so solid. He's really solid in damage. Passive 1, Ruthless Splendor. When receiving direct damage from enemies blocked by the hero, there's a 10% chance to inflict 1 stack of Radiant Erosion. Okay. Radiant Erosion, good. If the enemy is inflicted with Radiant Erosion, dealing damage to them every time will cost 1 stack of Radiant Erosion and deal 80% extra damage. Okay, cool. Yeah, so he can put out Radiant Erosion. In 10 seconds after Gungear returns, the hero increases attack by 27% and inflicts stun with basic attack and luminous strike. Okay, cool. So he can inflict stuns too. He is really good. I'm not going to look at his awakenings. Solid attack too. So yeah, he's a really good unit, and he's Esoterrorist. I didn't notice he was Esoterrorist. Okay, cool. He's a really good unit. Let's see what his reviews are. Yeah, 5%. Gear Raid 3, understandable. He can't attack air units, and anti-air, he can't attack air units. Understandable. Really good unit. I would like to have him. Now for Ingrid, the unit that is said to dethrone the Pope. I wonder if these are previous popes on her shoulder. She is the first dual faction legendary lord. She is only a lord for Watcher, but she is dual faction with Arbiter. And when deployed, enters solar mode. Solar mode, what that does is, after 4 basic attacks, turns the next basic attack into a solar flare. Stellar mode, after 4 basic attacks, changes the next basic attack into Star Shower. So, Solar Flare, what that is 270% damage, AoE, to up to 15 enemies in a wide front area. Now, I don't know the range of that, but sounds pretty huge. Stellar mode, the Star Shower, deals 50% damage to 1 enemy in range 9 times. That is huge. That's what, 180% damage? No. 1,100? Here. 9 times 50, 450% damage. I don't know what I was thinking with my math there, but hey, whatever. But 450% damage. So let's look at her basic attack. Solar mode, she deals 100% damage to enemies one time, up to 8 enemies in this Dahlia range. Stellar mode, 50% damage 2 times to 1 enemy. So AoE, single target. Understandable. We'll go over her ult last because that's interesting. All of it is very interesting. She is a book to read. Triggering solar flare grants 1 solar energy point, and triggering star shower grants 1 stellar energy point. Up to 5 energy points can be accumulated. Each solar energy point or stellar energy point increases damage by 3%. Reaching 5 of the solar does solar overload, reduces attack interval by 15%, and during which the ultimate can't be used, and solar energy will be cleared when the effect duration ends, and that's 20 seconds. And stellar overload, for the same general thing, increases attack by 20%, during which the ultimate can't be done, and it's 20 seconds. Casting Cosmic Shift, which is her ult, will clear all solar energy, all the energy points. Yeah, so this just, when she attacks a lot, she does a lot of damage. That's the easiest way to put that. Solar Flare, or her next passive. Solar Flare deals an extra true damage one time equal to 100% of the hero's attack to enemies hit. Okay. Each damage dealt by Star Shower has a chance to inflict burning and a 15% chance to inflict radiant erosion. Now that radiant erosion is huge for somebody like me who doesn't have Praetus, for Jira. So she is really good. Oh, sorry. Her ultimate, the easiest thing to read, but everything else kind of goes into it. Solar mode switches to stellar mode. Stellar mode, she switches to solar mode. This goes down to 100 cost. So pretty much all it does is it changes her from single target to AoE mode. That's all it does. And she's just really solid damage. Should you go for her? Yes. Just straight out yes. Her A3, I believe, is the one that's saying was broken. Yeah, A3. During Solar Overload and Stellar Overload, reduces the number of basic attacks required to trigger the talent to 1. So Solar Flare and Star Shower, every other attack would be one of those, and that's huge. And that's during the overload. So that's huge. And Solar Flare at A5 ignores 25% magic risk. Sure, that's great and all, but she's a legendary ancient exclusive lord. A5 is going to be the thing of Krakens only. She is really good. She does have that single range, so that's going to be a little difficult. Solar Flare, as long as there's somebody in her range and she can get those 4 attacks, she can do a ton of damage to multiple enemies in front of her, not just that range. So, all in all, should you summon on either one of these banners? Yes. In my opinion, yes. If you don't have Hot Soup, summon on it. And this banner, there's no reason not to summon on it right now. We don't know what's coming in the future. Praetus just left, so you likely don't have a whole lot. I only have like 20, and I did not get Praetus, unfortunately, but such is life. If I get Ingrid, great. I did just recently reset my Lord Pity with Ajax, sadly, but that put him at A2, so that increased his talent, or his Lord bonus, so to say. So that's a plus side. I don't think you should go on the 2x. I think these other banners are more valuable than that. If you're thinking about summoning on the 2x, I'd say save. I will be pulling on the hot suit banner, mainly for Glacius, but if I get Hatsu, I won't be disappointed. I have her at A1.
What do you
let's see.
As you wish.
Yeah, I have her at A1, so that'd be cool and all. If I get her to A2, A3, sure. The only one that really matters is A5, but I'm not planning on pulling that hard. I have 31,000 diamonds and 123 summon crystals. I will definitely go through the summon crystals, and I might pull to 1 or 2 pity. It depends. I have quite a few divines. I might pull those. I don't know. But I will definitely be pulling all of my ancients, which is 21 right now. Hopefully I can get some more. I'll do my Void Rift, and we'll go from there. So, all in all, I think these 2 banners are really good, and if you have anything saved up for summons, I would say that this would not be a bad place to spend those summons. If you want to save, definitely let me know why you're going to save, because I am curious. And that should do it for this video. If you liked it, like it. If you want to see more from me, subscribe and turn on notifications, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.